Okay, so it's the fourth time. Try again. Alright, yeah, so I'm ascending again. I've been, ascending for about 7 days. Nuts. Oh, this one is intense. The frequency disruption is intense because I spoke on it last week. But, you know, I went out in public today. Actually, yesterday and today, and there's a lot of disruption out there because in my home there's not much. But, you know, I hear people saying, oh my God, how could she talk about the CIA and then come out like that? And there's a couple things, number one, I want to say. Okay, first of all, they're not, you don't need to be afraid of them in that manner, okay? A lot of it is an illusion. You see it with your phone. You know, you got to think Hollywood magic with the CIA. So you got to keep that in mind when you're dealing with them. They don't necessarily want to hurt you. I mean, I think they're kind of curious about, you know, how far I've come to and my audacity. You know, I think that they, I've, you know, they would like me to work for them, but I would, if I was to work for an institution, it would be it will be a federally based one. Just because it upholds the Constitution of the United States, and it's very important to me. I love my country, period. And I love the people in my country, you know, and we do have a Constitution to uphold, you know, for all of us, and right now I feel like my constitutional rights are being violated, and it makes me a little hostile at times, so you guys need to forgive me for that, because I have a lot of low vibrational people coming at me, and it hurts a lot. You know, there's a lot of people that did take money to do what they did, to try and cause a mental break with me to push me over the edge. And it didn't work for me, because I was guided all the way through, yeah, and I'm really grateful for that. And I'm really grateful to everyone who stepped in the void, and who spoke up, yeah. And for the ones that are still hurling their own poop, I would just really strongly encourage some self-reflection. Yeah, self-reflection. Yeah. That's all I gotta say about that. I don't even want to deal with that anymore. As far as the podcast go, I need to straighten that out as well, too. I want to say, first of all, that I learned a lot from Scott. I learned a lot from him. A lot. Our methods were completely different. He is definitely more military trained. You know, structured, disciplined. And I go at it from more of a whimsical, obviously. You know, by reading, you know, books on intuition, whereas he probably would have gone at it from, you know, SEAL training, right? So, you know, our ways are different, and our faiths are different, you know. I'm religious. I don't know what his faith really is. Christian, I hope. I am definitely a Christian. I also, I have Native American in me, so I have a lot of Native American beliefs, and I also have a lot of shaman ways, you know, so it makes me a little bit different than a normal Christian, you know. Yeah, and I'm okay with that. I'm okay with being different. I don't need to be accepted by other people, but I do need to have people refrain from being judged, okay. They like to poke fingers when they realize that my rights are being violated, and they're watching them being violated, and they're still coming at me. Sit down and stop. How would you feel? How would you feel? Thank you. Okay. So I want to go back to why I do what I do. Okay, so I'm not afraid of the CIA. They're not out to kill me. They're very curious. They want to know about me too, you know, but they want me to do it for them under their guise, and I would rather do it my way for what I intended it for, which is human growth. And yeah, you know, so, and my gifts are not meant to hurt people. They're not even structured that way. They're intuition. You know, the gift of, like, maybe astral travel, you know, this type of stuff. teaching us how to move forward intuitively as a race. And I have a lot of gifts with that, you know. I mean, in vibrational healing, this is really important too. You know, understanding people's vibration can help us with things like making sure that certain people get into the right jobs, you know, like making sure that police officers don't have, you know, abusive tendencies, or they have the right energy to be handling the public. To make sure that we have vibrationally the right people in school systems who are handling, you know, children, or psychologists, or teachers, or you know, not just teachers, but doctors, you know. Just make sure vibrationally everybody's where they should be. You know, it's for the betterment of humanity, just all around. And you know, this is really my purpose. I'm not out to hurt anyone. I'm not, you know, I'm actually a very quiet person. This last year has been extremely stressful for me. It's definitely triggered some level of PTSD on my part. You know, it's triggered my autistic traits. It's triggered, yeah, a lot in me. But it's also brought a lot of gifts forward, so it's been a double-edged sword, and I'm grateful for the learning experience overall. Yeah, you know, it's time for a better world. You know, I think that the majority of the population is ready for this, and you know, I get a lot of positive feedback out in public, you know, some negative feedback too, but that's okay. Everybody's entitled to their opinion, but they're not entitled to hold me back because they have an opinion, right? To each their own, right? Right. And if you don't agree that, it's okay. You don't have to. You have your own right to agree that too. You don't have the right to tell me I don't. Or do. Whatever. You know what I'm saying. Go back to being an American. This is what we need to do. Right? We don't want our home to look like communist China anytime soon, do we? It's starting to look more and more like that every day. It's scary. I don't want to live that way. You know, we got to worry about things like our devices, you know. They're sent over to a communist country, you know, that enslaves these Uyghur Muslims and Christians over there, and they put people to work in, you know, these huge factories that produce all of our devices. They put spyware in it, and they send it back to us. And it's not just, you know, the technology companies keeping track on us. It's China. At what point do we disallow this? I think it's about time. They're hitting me with a really high frequency right now to shut me up. And the thing is, it's not. It's just kind of getting me wired. Because I'm going to do another video here, too. Because I want to go more into, you know, more of my spiritual gift. And also what I see on the 5D. You know, because, you know, I mean, I drive by this beautiful church, you know, a couple times a week. And they say, tell us how love is already won. And that's my focus. And that's where I'm going. And that's what I'm going to tell you guys. I'm going to tell you everything beautiful I see in the future. I do. It's a beautiful future. I'm just trying to get over this hump and get everybody on the same page and realize that, you know, nobody's your enemy. Across the board. You know what I'm saying? Just that infrastructure. It's so old and so structured to control, and it's just that's what needs to be handled. We just need to make sure that we're not turning our country into a communist country, that we're not giving up our rights a little bit by little bit, and not sacrificing other people's rights for entertainment, right? Yeah. It's time to stand up for each other. And it's time to do it because we don't want to live in an old way of being, right? It's time to move forward into the future together, right? Wouldn't you guys rather be out astral traveling and, you know, living your best life than watching people get ripped apart on the internet for trying to bring